This is Studio 809.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Outdoors Hiking Bob podcast. I'm your host, Hiking Bob Falcone. I'm going to dispense with the usual pleasantries. If you normally listen to this podcast, you know what I'm talking about, where I tell you everything about me. And I know last week I said I wasn't sure I was going to do a podcast this week, and I wasn't even sure I was going to do one until, well, the day before you listen to this. And it's going to be a day early. Usually they come out on Wednesdays. This week they're going to come out on Tuesday because today is July 4th. Today is Independence Day. And I want to talk a little bit about independence and freedom. You know, there's a lot of controversy in this country right now. There's been a lot for a couple of years now, a lot of division, a lot of, what do you want to call it? Partisanship, I guess. A lot of ideological differences. And sometimes it seems like, you know, we're just going in the wrong direction. But I just want to sit here and say that I think, and I firmly believe, that we still live in the best country in the world, that this is a freedom-loving country. And I know that's hard to believe sometimes. I know that's hard to swallow. But I want you all, if that's kind of what you're thinking, like, how could I be saying something like that? Take a step back a little bit and think about the things we get to do here and the things we get to see here. People from all over the world come to this country to visit our outdoor recreation spots, to go to places like the Grand Canyon and Yosemite and Yellowstone, and to see the sights that we get to see that we take for granted. They come here to the Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs. Millions of people a year come here. We live in the best place that we could possibly live. I'm the son, along with, and I have two siblings, of immigrant parents who came to this country 60 some odd years ago to find a better place to live. And people still come here looking for a better place to live, and what we call, and sometimes we sound a little cliche, but looking for the American dream. And regardless of what you think about immigration and controlling our borders, and I'm not going to get political here, but keep in mind that the reason why we have that problem, if you will, or issue to address, if you will, is because all those people are coming here because they want a better place to live. They want the American dream. They want the American standard of living. They want that. Now, you can argue whether they're going about it the right way, and again, I'm not going to get political about it, but let's not forget that that's why they're coming here. More people want to come here than want to leave here. We do live in absolutely the best place on earth. The opportunities are endless. Now, I know that, coming from a white male as myself, that may be hard for some people to understand. And I will tell you that I can't speak for everybody, and everybody's circumstances are different. And some people, some groups of people have had a harder time making their way. But there's many, many, many success stories out there for people who have applied themselves and overcame and worked hard and have become successful. Can we do things to make it better? Yes, we can. Can we do things to make opportunity better for everybody who lives in this country? Yes, we can. Nobody ever said we were perfect. If we were perfect, the Declaration of Independence would not have said that everybody was free in the pursuit of happiness. It would have said that everybody had the right to happiness. We don't have that, but we have the right to pursue our happiness. We have the right to pursue our successes. We have the right to pretty much do as we please that doesn't hurt anybody else. And I think that is an important thing. You can jump in your car tomorrow and drive to throw a dart at the map, any national park you want to go to, and you don't have to ask anybody's permission. You don't have to go through any government paperwork. You can just go where you want. You can drive around the country all year if you want. You can do what you want. That is a right and a freedom that many people do not have. and everybody here gets to vote. And again, I'm going to couch this by saying I understand that some groups have not traditionally enjoyed those freedoms, and some groups are still fighting to get the freedoms that they're guaranteed to have. I understand that. But understand also that politically we have a way of centering ourselves and getting things done, and sometimes it takes longer than we'd like. But remember, this is a country with tremendous freedoms. For me, as a journalist and as a podcaster and as an ex-military member myself and somebody who devoted their whole life to public safety and the military, the biggest right we have is the right of free speech. Many countries don't have that. Even in some countries we consider free, like some European countries, there are things that the government says you cannot say. There are words that you cannot say. There are phrases you cannot say. We don't have that in this country. You're free to speak as you will. I'm free to speak here, and the government's not going to step in and tell me I can't say something. Now, I always run the risk of alienating a group or an industry or a business and getting the backlash from them, and that's okay. I understand that. But the government is not going to come in and shut me down because they don't like that I criticize them, which I occasionally do, or anything like that. This is what makes this the best country in the world to live in. Sometimes that's hard to accept. Sometimes it's hard to believe that this is as great a country as I believe it is. I get it. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. If you look for perfection, you're not going to find it here or anywhere else. This is not a utopian society. It's not a utopian world. But we do live in the best place in the world. So today, on Independence Day, the day we declared our independence from an overbearing government that was restricting our freedoms and our speech, remember that this was founded on getting away from that kind of environment. And this is the place we live. And this is the country we get to live in. And this is the country that other people want to come to and enjoy themselves and make a better life for themselves and their families and for their futures. So on this Independence Day, if nothing else, bury your differences. Take a step back. Instead of looking at what makes this country not perfect, look at what makes this country the place to live and the place to raise a family and the place to pursue a career and a place to recreate and have fun and enjoy oneself. And remember that we do, in my opinion, my honest opinion, live in the best place on earth. Thank you. Having said that, I continue on with just one big announcement. If you followed my column, or if you follow my newsletter, you will know that my column at The Independent is coming back. I'm thrilled to announce that. It will be back. You will probably see it this week. It'll be a monthly column, not weekly, but hopefully that'll change as time moves on. But I will be back in The Independent with some new features, and we're going to kind of change how I do things since it's only going to be monthly. But I hope you look forward to that, and hopefully this week I'll have my first monthly edition of the Outdoors column at the Colorado Springs Independent. With that, I'll say thanks for listening. Thanks for all of you who support the podcast, who send me your letters and your comments and your private messages, or who stop me on a trail or on the street and say hello. And sometimes you like what I say, sometimes you don't. That's okay. I'm a big boy. I can take it as long as it's not personal. If it's constructive, I'm happy to hear from you. And I look forward to hearing from more of you in the future. This is probably going to be the shortest podcast I've ever done. And on behalf of myself and I hopefully Kevin agrees with most of what I said. He doesn't always, and that's okay too. It's his right. But I hope you all continue listening to the podcast, read my newsletters, read my columns when they start to come out, and I hope to hear from you wherever I run into you. And with that, while you're out enjoying your fireworks, your barbecue, your hikes, and if you're going to be like me, a baseball game this evening, have a great Independence Day. and we'll talk to you next week.
Before you go, did you know you can rate and review our Studio 809 podcasts? That will help us because our egos really need to have thousands and thousands of listeners. But that helps our wonderful sponsors reach more ears too. And we do love our sponsors. So just go to Studio 809 or any individual 809 podcast in your iTunes or podcast app and click on ratings and reviews. Thanks.